there's been a lot of discussion on the internet and among ministers for a Sunday blue law to be reinforced. That's another thing. So you can see another connection here with the Trump presidency. Some ministers are feeling like maybe this is time to enforce these type of laws back into the Constitution, into the country once again. Let's take a listen.
How about protecting our communities? How many of you are familiar with the blue laws? I believe blue laws are, I don't know if we have those too much any longer, but several years ago, there was a case brought before the Supreme Court about doing away with these blue laws. And blue laws had to do with certain things you could not sell on a Sunday, the first day of the week, such as liquor and beer and other things like that. And I believe today, I don't know about South Carolina, and this could have changed in Tennessee, but just a few years ago, it may still be the same day, you cannot sell liquor at all on Sunday, and you have to wait till 10 o'clock in the morning to sell beer. I don't know if that's the same here or not. But back in 1961, there was a case brought before the Supreme Court on behalf of states of Pennsylvania, Maryland, and Massachusetts, trying to overthrow these things. And I want you to notice what the justices acknowledged. They were able to overthrow these laws, but in doing this, the justices acknowledged something. They said this. It says, the justices acknowledged that the original purpose of the Sunday closing laws was religious in nature. These are from people sitting on a legal bench. We recognize the source of this as religious in nature. It says, there is no dispute that the original laws which dealt with Sunday labor were motivated by religious forces. How did that happen? People brought in the knowledge of God, didn't they? People taught others what God expected. We know that drunkards will not inherit the kingdom of God. That's what it says there in the book of 1 Corinthians. We're told to be sober, and whoever is led away by strong drink is not wise. And so that teaching led to those blue laws. And I believe it's a lack of reminding people that those laws have been or are in the process of being.
All right. So I want to get your thought on that.
You know, here he kind of made it clear that, you know, some states still have Sunday blue laws. You know, there are blue laws in Georgia, there are blue laws in Tennessee, there are blue laws in South Carolina, West Virginia. So, you know, the mere fact that he's trying to enforce another Sunday law, it's already enforced in many places. But I see where he's coming from. I mean, what he's trying to say is that, you know, they want to protect Sunday goers. They want to protect Sunday. That's nothing new. That's nothing new at all. You know, and many of these people don't realize that they're helping the very church that they try to protest against. That's the reason why just recently, many of them are all hanging out. There was a big Eucharist fest with the Catholic Church and the evangelicals not too long ago, where they were all taking the Eucharist.
Yeah.
Evangelical, alike. So Catholics and the evangelicals alike. So, you know, they don't see the danger that they're helping to bring in.
Correct.
But, yeah, we know that these laws are being asked for, and that's what I'm saying. It has to take shape. It's not just. A lot of people think that this is going to be a religious thing. No, it's a social. It's going to be more of a social thing than a religious thing. It's going to have religious. It's going to have religious epithets in it. It's going to have religious pieces inside of it, but it's going to be given as a social, type, you know, law.
Correct.
And climate change is a social issue. It's not a religious issue.
Yeah. I can see it. I can see it being combined both socially and, like you said, and religiously as well. For it to, because there's a lot of people who are not spiritual. How do you get these individuals to fall on board? So whatever it is, it has to work for everybody. And then when it comes with teeth, you know, just like happened during the mandate with the jab, many people who did not want to take it, but when they say you're going to lose your job, right? You cannot buy and sell. A lot of people just compromised. So they went along with it because of the pressure. So I can see that aspect of it as well. So, but Donald Trump said, and again, he said very clearly, I have nothing to do. He says this, I have nothing to do with and know nothing about Project 2025, he says. The fact that I do is merely disinformation put out by the radical left. Thugs don't believe them. These are his words. He went on.
Those are his words, but I mean, that's just he wants to separate himself from Project 2025. I get it, but Ben Carson wrote, and I just found it out last week because I'm like, how did I miss that? I must have just not even looked about it, but when I went back and looked again, I was like, oh snap, Ben Carson's name is right here, and Ben Carson is a good friend of Donald Trump.
Oh my goodness, I mean, this is huge.
So yeah, so for him to say that, nah,
it's one thing.
Yeah, he's stretching the lie. So I'm gonna say about that. He's stretching the lie.
Yeah, I mean, he's denied it several times.
Let me ask you about Project 2025. So you've publicly said that you don't have any direct connection to
nothing. I know nothing about it, and they know that too. Democrats know that, and I purposely haven't read it because I want to say to you, I have no idea what it's all about. It's easier.
Can you pause
I
for a
read
second?
it.
All right. You see the play on words right there? He would have nothing. He would know nothing about it because he has not read it. You see you see the play on words? So if you haven't read it, you don't know nothing about it. You don't know anything. You haven't read it yet. It's like saying, hey man, have you read the book Great Controversy? No. I don't know I don't know anything about the book Great Controversy. But I know about a book Great Controversy though. I've heard about the book, right? I go to the same church the woman that wrote it. Yeah, I did. She went to the Seventh-day Adventist church. I'm a Seventh-day Adventist, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I've opened the book and read the book. So I don't know anything about the book. So that's what he's doing. But he knows about Project 2025.
Okay.
You see the play on. So he knows. He also knows the authors that put it together. He also knows the think tank that brought it out. He knows who they are. He knows what they're about. He does. Now, his name is not on it.
Yeah, because his agenda is Agenda 47. That's the one he goes by.
That's his Agenda 47 is what he goes by. But again, like I said, there are a lot of policies written in Project 2025 that they will implement because it's a conservative. It's written by conservative, and these are the conservative agendas.
Correct. Yeah, I've heard somebody explain. It's like a menu. You know, you go to the restaurant. You can't eat everything on the menu, but you can certainly you can take some things that you think would best fit. You know, so I totally understand that. So
no idea what it's all about. It's easier than saying I read it and all of the things. No, I purposely haven't read it, and I've heard about it. I've heard about things that are in there that I don't like, and there's some things in there that everybody would like, but there are things that
what did he say again?
I don't like at all. There's some things in there that everybody would like.
No, go back again. Go back a little bit.
About it, I've heard about things that are in there that I don't like, and there's some things in there that everybody would like.
Well, I mean, there's truth to that. I mean, if you read portion of Project 2025, you're like, okay, there's some things I do agree with. But I wonder if you never read it. It's interesting that he said that remark.
There you go. Okay, and you notice he says there's some things in there that I don't like, and there's some things in there that everybody likes. But what he missed is what he jumped over was there's some things in there that I do like. So so the opposite has to be true. If there's some things in there that you don't like, the opposite has to be there's some things in there that I do like, and that everybody likes. You see. So what he did say was that what he heard of some things in there that I don't like. I heard. So somebody must have read it to you.
Wow.
You see, so again, I listen to how it's being. I listen to words. I listen to how the words are being said, and you got to dissect these things, man.
Yeah, you pick up on that.
Dissect these things.
Good job.
On these things. Yeah.
You caught that. All right, let's keep listening.
But there are things that I don't like at all, and I think it's unfortunate that they put it out. But it doesn't mean anything because it has nothing to do with me. Project 25 has absolutely nothing to do with me.
Let me ask you about Project 2025. So
So let's take a look at let's, for all intents and purposes, let's say the Sabbath piece, he doesn't like it, right? That
Correct.
everybody worships on Sunday because he may feel what that goes against the Constitution, right? And that might not be good for our Constitution. So maybe in there he's like, what, I don't like that, right? Who's to say? Maybe he doesn't like it. Maybe he just leaves that alone, right? So those are the things that we have to, and we have an opportunity to witness to Donald Trump. Donald Trump owns a social media site called Truth Social.
Correct.
Hey, he's on there and people talk to him. He replies back. He likes people's posts and this, that, and the third is his stuff. He literally looks at posts. So it's our opportunity to go on there
and witness.
Be a witness. Stop doing the whole, well, he's an evil man. He's orange and, he's going to pass the Sunday law and this, that, and the third and blah, 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 blah. No, stop doing that. God has given us an opportunity to witness to this man. The one thing I always say to people is, it will be sad for this man to be in heaven by the legs of Jesus while we're outside.
Wow.
It'll be a very sad situation. Because all we're doing is ridicule after ridicule after ridicule, condemnation after condemnation, judgment after judgment after judgment. That's all we're doing. But instead of saying, you know what, Lord, show me a way to get to this man. He is the only president that I know that has been accessible to the people.
Sorry. All right, go ahead. That's another video I'm gonna.
Yeah. He's the only one that is actually accessible to the people.
Yeah.
You're the president I know. So if you have access to him, witness to him. Correct. Send some Bible verses. Send some, hey, President Trump, my name is such and such. I wanted to give you a daily devotion for the day. Boom.
He says he's a Christian. He says he's a Christian. He says he believes in God. He's a
Christian, but one thing I know about Christians, not all Christians are Christians, and not, it's the same thing. Not all kinfolks, not all skin folk is kinfolk, right? So that's what he's saying. But the point of the matter is, listen. One day, it might be that one quote from Sister White or that one Bible verse that he gets before he closes his eyes.
Yeah.
And where he goes, you know what, Lord? This is of truth. You are the King of Kings and Lord of Lords.
Wow.
Right? That'd be the one thing. So we have to be able to continue to spread the gospel to the highest person in the world. We have the opportunity to do so.
Wow. Appreciate that, man. This is good. On that video, and then my last question will be, what does things look like prophetically in a positive way toward a Trump presidency or negatively in a Trump presidency? And that will be my final two questions.
If there's to be a Sunday law, can a president put together an executive order? Yes, he can, right? But that executive order could be struck down by the Supreme Court based upon our Constitution. So if it's not constitutionally correct, it can be struck down, all right? A lot of that happened with Biden. Biden tried to pay for school loans and this, that, and the third, and had to go to the Supreme Court, says, no, that's against our Constitution. Strike it down, right? So a lot of times you can see those elements being played out. Now, with this video in regards to gender and teaching our children foolishness, in the short term, what he's saying, while they're trying to shut down this whole board of education, what he's saying is that the schools are not teaching math, science, and the regular types of education. They will get penalized, and by penalizing, they'll be losing funding for their school because the school is federally owned and it's under his jurisdiction. That's the first thing we have to understand. The school is federally owned by the government and is under his jurisdiction. Until the Board of Education is removed and is being brought back to the states, it's away from the federal government. The state now makes a decision on what the school, and the state as well as the parents now have the voice as to what the school should look like. Okay? So this is what you're going to see in a Trump administration. I personally agree with it, in part, that we need to have better school system, better food in our healthier foods in our schools. Go back to teaching arithmetic, math, and science, and this, that, and the third. Let's not put prayer back in school. Let's not do that. Let's not, because, well, again, by doing so, it does tend to make the religious part then have power over the civil. And once that happens, once the church sits on top of the government, then we have a problem. So we have to be able to be balanced in that way, where we're like, you know what, Lord, let's not put ourselves in a position where, just like the Jews of old was dictating to Pontius Pilate, if you don't crucify him, you're no friend of Caesar. We don't want to be that person or that people. Your last two questions, if I can remember them.
Yeah. How do things look like under a Trump presidency positively? How do things look like under a Trump presidency negatively?
That's a very good question. I believe, and I was talking to Jamal Grant about this, and we were grappling on this thing here. Sister White says that there will be a time of respite, a small period of respite, that we can spread the third angel's message. Because after that, we'll be spreading the third angel's message during a time of crisis. So I'm thinking that this could be it in my mind. In my mind, I'm like, you know what? This could be that small time before the great Daniel chapter 12, verse 1, great time of trouble that the world has never seen since there's a world. So I believe that this can be it right here. Negatively, just by what he did here and what he was saying in terms of him passing an executive order, for the school system and education, he can pass an executive order for Sunday law. And any of the presidents could have done so. Any of the presidents could have done so. Of course, from a social standpoint, he's not calling cops and sending the military after black people. Black people don't listen to that nonsense. That's a bunch of nonsense. It's foolishness. The world going to be okay. He did not create the world for him to destroy the world. Joe Biden destroyed a lot of America's economy, destroyed a lot of America's our assets as well as our resources. You can't even plant things in your garden today without Monsanto spraying stuff in the air, and it lands on your soil and all that. It's all destructive. It's all destructive at this point. So we have to come to a point where, yes, he's going to be the president. What are we going to do? What we supposed to do? 1, watch, pray. 2, get closer to Christ, build a relationship with Jesus. 3, we're supposed to go out and spread the gospel like peanut butter and jelly on a very good sandwich, very good bread. Okay. And that's our job. Worship God and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come. Right? That is our duty.
Wow. Brother Larry, this was amazing.
For sure, my brother.
Appreciate you for that.